Hey guys, it's Miriam, and we're a few days into this painting. I figured I'd just come on live and paint with you guys for a while. If you have any questions, let me know. Or let me pull the palette up if anyone's interested in seeing that. Hey Gianna, good morning to you as well. How's everyone doing today? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Belgium. Glad catching you live. Hey, thanks for joining. It is morning time here in Atlanta. I'm about an hour into this session for today. I started using some medium on this painting. We're using solvent-free gel. A nice, slow, easy morning, my favorite. Really just trying to bring some of these areas to life. Someone says hello from France. Hey, thanks for joining. Kathleen says she's gorgeous. Thank you, I appreciate that. Ingrid from the Netherlands, thanks for joining. Oh, Heidi says good morning from Maryland. Another beautiful painting. Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of different people from a lot of different places. I'm just in New York. Yeah, it always shocks me how, I think it's so wonderful how worldwide these live streams are. I'm always curious for anyone that's watching live. Are you guys also artists or are you just enjoyers of art? I feel like most people here have to be artists, right? Kathleen says, I love realism. Now I'm totally doing abstract mark making while drawing. Might go back to figurative painting soon. Oh, it's so fun. I find abstract work so much harder than realism. And people who are really good at abstract stuff, I admire so much. We are working on building up these eyelids. Trying to instill a sense of form in the eyelids is always tough because it's like such a small area. So teeny tiny. Heidi says, I'm not a professional, but had some classes many years ago. I'm just starting up again. Oh, that's awesome. Gianna says, yeah, I'm not like a big time artist, but I definitely do art. Nice. If anyone's curious, if you're watching and want to know about the palette, I'm using gray palette paper, which is always my favorite. And we're using all Old Holland or Gamblin brand paints right now. Uh, Marie asked, is this oil? Yes, it's all oil paints. A lot of times I do mixed media work, but this one is all oil. And we're painting on oil primed linen, which is like a new thing for me. Normally I paint on panels, but I've been really loving this oil primed Belgian linen. So pricey though, which is like the only downside. Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear my stomach rumble on the live stream? I hope not. Someone said you don't use any medium. So the majority of this painting, I did not use any medium at all. I have not like for this layer, I'm going into like refining a lot of these areas. I'm using this as my medium, just Gamblin solvent-free gel. Oh, what gave you the idea or the inspiration? I have been really into like the old classics lately. And I this actually I did this kind of as an exercise in studying some of the greats. Particularly, I'm gonna botch his name, but Bergano. Um, really just trying to understand how he applies skin color and skin tones and his use of form. And so that's kind of the inspiration for this painting. Thank you guys. I appreciate the kind words. I have a rag on my knee. I just realized it's hidden, so you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing. But I'm constantly wiping off all the paint off my brush before I go back in to blend an area. Sorry for all the background noise. Oh, I just realized I've missed some comments. Um, oh, you can zoom in. See, I didn't even know you could do that either. Don't zoom in too close. Not until I finish it all. We're just working, speaking of the shadows, we're working in a ton of color using this really pretty cool cobalt blue working that into the shadows. I've been loving the mix of this transparent brown oxide and the cobalt blue in my shadows. Tell him bless you. Oh, that's so funny. Um, that's my husband working from upstairs. I just arrived. What did she use as a medium? So for the majority of this, I didn't use any medium at all. I painted straight out of the tube. But now I've started getting into the refining stage and I'm using this. It's Gamblin solvent-free gel. How did you place her face features correctly? It's gorgeous. Well, thank you. A lot of trial and error. I actually posted a progress of this on my TikTok and on my Instagram if you're curious to see how it started. And you'll see I shifted the facial features a lot. I played around with a lot of different variations until I found something that just kind of felt right. Oh, how do I use the medium? Okay, so can you guys, it's like a little hard to see because it's clear gel. So I just dip my brush into a little bit of it as I'm mixing the paint. So like this area here, I have a lot. So this is what I mixed up for a lot of these shadow areas. And do you guys see how it's a little more shiny than, I don't know if you guys can tell. It's a little more shiny than the rest of the paint, although I can't get it in the glare, see? Okay, so this has a lot more gel mixed into it, whereas a lot of this, I don't really have much gel mixed in at all. But yeah, I like the tiniest bit, I dip my brush into it and mix it in. Oh, I just forgot what part I was working on. I always do that to myself. Is your TikTok Miriam Paints? It is. At least I'm pretty sure it is. It's hard to keep up with all the social channels. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Miriam Paints. Or it might just be under Miriam Hoffman Art. Now that I think of it, I can't remember. I should know that stuff, shouldn't I? Probably. How many hours have you spent on this piece so far? Oh, maybe about, and I haven't kept track very well, but I'd say between 20 and 30. Been working on it since last week. Well, actually, I started it maybe 2 weeks ago, but I had a long gap where I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, so I just let it sit in the corner of my studio. Normally I love painting noses, but this nose has been giving me a lot of trouble. Oh, thank you. It would probably be easiest if I just like made all of my channels have the same name. Thanks, Heidi. All right, I feel like I'm finally starting to make progress on this side of the nose and the cheek. Someone said, so you only use the medium on the last layer. You don't have to worry about all the layers. It's mixed in. So I typically use, if I'm going to use any medium at all, I typically use it towards the end of the process. I'll probably add more layers onto this, so I won't call it the last layer. Um, but yeah, I tend to let the paint itself do the bulk of the work for me, and then I only use any sort of modifier like medium or thinner if it's absolutely necessary. And at this stage, I deem it necessary. I have a lot of the form worked out in many of these areas. I have a lot of the colors or a lot of the values correct, but sometimes I just need to go in and tint an area or I need to glaze in some highlights, shadows, and so on. So yeah, typically towards the end of the process. Oh, less medium, the better. What are you dipping your paintbrush in? Yeah, so that is the medium right there. So I'm just dipping a little tiny bit in, and then I'll mix it into the paint on my palette and then apply it. Oh, on the side, I see you dipping at something when you're changing colors. I'm actually not, okay, so here it is. It's a rag, and I'm actually wiping my brush off, not dipping it. I just always like to go in with a clean brush before I change colors or before I blend. Um, I also prefer to blend, like if I'm just blending two colors and I'm not adding anything, I like to blend with a dry brush. So that's what you see me doing. um, Heidi says, if eyes are round, why aren't irises always round in appearance? Okay, so that's a good question. If you look at the shape of the eye, right, you have a ball. Let's imagine a ball. The iris is actually a concave shape. So imagine a bowl cut into the ball. And so, depending on how you turn that, most of the time it's not going to be a perfect circle. It's going to be an ellipse of some sort. You typically don't look at people straight on like I have here. So in this instance, they're very circular, but more often than not, they're ellipse because of the concave nature. All right, guys, I'm probably gonna let this dry. Go grab some food, and then maybe I'll come back later and work on this neck. The neck is pretty horrendous, but thank you guys for joining.